Hello world, my name is Solomon Richburg and today I will show you how to web scrape. Hopefully future employers are looking at this video and to see some of the skills that I have. I'm a Python developer, but I focus my skills using data analysis for data web scraping, data mining, data visualization, and data management. This code was actually code that I found from LinkedIn. There was an article going back last year about why LinkedIn had this huge issue with a third party scraping their web data. And it was actually a big deal for a lot of these social media platforms because these third party companies, mostly data analytics, they want to scrape this data and use it for their own clientele. But LinkedIn actually showed this article, and there was this developer that created this code with Python, which was very cool. Now, when I discuss how this code works, I'm also going to let you know that I made my own tweaks on this code. And for anybody that believes that if you're a developer, well, I'll just take some code from somebody else and call it a day, that is not the case. Because when you're developing websites or if you're making a huge data analytical project, you need to learn how to find what you need and make the tweaks that you need to make. Sure, it's okay to use someone else's code if they're willing to share it, but be mindful of not taking someone else's code and claiming it as yours. So with this one, I have used the code from LinkedIn. However, I made my own little tweaks to make it just a little better. So with this, I'm using a few imports, I'm using Selenium, I'm using CSV, I am using parcel, and I'm using time import, which is sleep. And what I'm doing, I'm creating these empty lists. And that's something I'll discuss later. That is not what the original programmer used for this code. But to get this started, you need a web driver. I use the Chrome driver because I like using Chrome. I like using Google stuff. It's very good. And then from there, once you install the web driver, you just go into the Chrome website and you can just even do a Google search Chrome driver and it'll be one of the first things that pop up. The next thing you need to do is use this git command, which allows you to input this link. And I think the original had it where you just put in the https linkedin.com, but I was having trouble automating the username and password. So what I did, I actually just used this long extended link to help me to make it easier to find those elements, which is the next part. And I put driver.find element by ID. Now let me talk to you a little bit about that. What is cool about a driver through Chrome is that they have a couple things that you cannot do with Beautiful Soup or some of the other imports that Python has. It literally has another algorithm that can pull out those elements at your ease, at your discretion. So with that, I was able to find the element which says username and another one that says parameters.linkedin_username. Now parameters is actually another file, and that has password information, the username information, and I'm not going to show it for this video because I didn't tweak the password where you can see how it works. But next time I will make like a second part of the video so you can actually see that part. But one thing that's really important when you're dealing with these Chrome drivers, when you're dealing with automation on the web, is that you don't want to disrupt servers that some of these companies have. And that's why many of these companies dislike other companies web scraping their sites, is because you have people out there that want it to be done quick and dirty, and instead of using something called sleep that slows it down, where you're not automating super fast, they do it really fast, and it could affect the servers. So that is something to be aware of. Let's go back to this import, the WebDriver. This is through Selenium. Selenium is an excellent tool when you're dealing with a little more complex web scraping projects, because Beautiful Soup is good. Beautiful Soup can do similar things. Beautiful Soup is actually great for web scraping. I've been using Beautiful Soup for the last year or so, but then I realized the impact Selenium has when it comes to automation and doing things on the web. And there's just some things that it can do that if you do it through Beautiful Soup, it takes a little more complexity. So make sure you import that Selenium. And if you're trying out some of these tools, it'll be very helpful. And these things I'm not even using it. These are just extras. I can remove them next time. Going back to this, make sure it goes to sleep. You have a login button. This here, and if you're wondering where these strings here, these are just the class names from the element that you see on the website. If I just right click here and inspect, this is what I'm seeing. Now, once you do that, you go on the login button, and then you use the click, and then boom, it'll automatically log you in, and it'll automatically log in your password without you actually have to type it in. And you may seem like, well, what's the point of that? I could do it myself. But if you're trying to do this project through automation, and instead of one page, you're trying to tackle 100 pages or 200 pages or 50 pages or even 20 pages, this will be much quicker and much more efficient. And then you do the driver.get google.com. This is another tweak. The original one has something a little different. But what I did, I actually just put the google.com here, and I actually used the driver.find.q, and what that does is that when you right click, it's another element that's in Google, and this is the most crucial part. This is one thing that I really tweaked to make it work for this type of situation, rather than what the previous programmer used for this LinkedIn automation. I added a page, an empty string, and a stir I. Let's go back to this for loop. The for loop, I in range, I put 10, which means it will go through 10 of these pages, and then it will get the google.com, make it sleep for some time in between, and then from there you are going to sleep again, and then it will return those keys. I'm sleeping again, and then I'm using this driver.find, the class name. This is within those LinkedIn URLs. And again, it's really cool when you're using Selenium because it just pinpoints those elements. Once you find, and of course the hardest part is finding it. Once you find it, boom, you put it in there and you're good to go.